How to get your ex to feel your power and chase you. So this is an extremely powerful method if you understand all the areas you're coming from and you try as best as you can to not get too emotional about this whole thing. Okay? Because the issue is most guys, most people, truthfully, can't control their emotions well enough to see this through and to stick to it. Okay? So before we get started, I just have to talk about a couple of things. First things first, I have a new channel that is getting away from the breakup stuff and focusing very much on self-improvement. And it's called the Better Man Project. The description for that will be in the link for that will be in the description box in the pinned comments. So either or, whenever you pick. And then you just click on it, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And the reason I'm making content like that is because breakup content is like one thing, but self-improvement is what I really want to talk about, because that's like, I'm kind of blending that content here, right? So Better Man Project is going to be like phase 2. So phase 1 is sort of realizing your power and realizing that you are not your ex. Your identity is not your ex and you, it's you. And you just forgot. So what we need to do is we need to remind you through these videos and these breakup videos. And over on Better Man Project, it's much more raw. Okay, it's going to be basically me self-improving myself in the areas that I'm focused on. So money, body, like fitness and stuff, productivity, all that stuff. I do have to micro niche first if I want the channel to grow. That being said, it'll probably be focused on productivity, masculinity, stuff like that. Okay. So that's going to be like, so again, this channel's phase 1. That's going to be sort of phase 2. A lot of people come to the breakup channels, even other coaches, I've seen this happen before, and they come and watch the content and then they just leave and go do something else. So I kind of want to carry you through and be your mentor on that channel if you don't want to do any kind of paid mentorship. Now, speaking of paid mentorship, you guys are all going through breakups. All of you are going through a breakup right now. So everything I just said about my new channel, I already talk about, but it's in a paid community. And if you want to be part of something like that, let me know. The link will be in the description box below. What we talk about there is just literally becoming a better man. We focus on the 6 pillars. And if you don't know what the 6 pillars are, again, this is attractive energy and repulsive energy. We'll talk about that later. But these are the 6 pillars right here: health, wealth, skills, mindset, social circle, and relationships. And one of the first things we talk about over there is literally tracking your time. Garbage in versus garbage out. That's the main focus. We can't have people focused on improving themselves if all they do is consume. So the whole mindset idea, right? And of course, I know you guys know about this, is making money. So down here, this is just one of the avenues that I do it and my students do it. And these are the results that we're getting in Money School / Better Man Project. So if you guys want to learn how to do this while you're going through your breakup, you guys, there's a video that you guys can watch on when you click the school link, and you guys will be able to watch it and check it out. And if you have any more questions, hit me up on socials. But other than that, that's the announcements for this video. So how to get your ex to feel your power. Now, again, we need to rediscover what this is. Realizing your power is understanding simple things, simple truths about life. So one being supply and demand. Supply and demand, energetically and in a relationship, is really how much you show up. So when they break up with you, and we'll talk more about this, but when they break up with you, you can't be showing up all the time, right? So this is kind of me blending business tactics and business stuff with relationships, because they do go hand in hand quite often. So you have to understand that no contact is going to be the best thing you can do, but I'll go into the deep reasons why here. This will be a longer video too, so you guys can check that out. Okay. So the first point is, the more you chase, the more they run. So this is the first thing to, and this is going to be part of like the fundamental series. So the first one was the Breakups 101, but the Fundamental series is like, it's like the longer videos that go deeper into the psychological stuff. So it'll be part of this series. So stick around for that for the rest of the videos. But the next video is going to be called What to Do When She Comes Back Around. So I wanted to make this interquel, this in-between video, to talk more about power dynamics. A really good book is obviously 48 Laws of Power, but also Laws of Human Nature, both by Robert Greene. And yes, it takes a while to read those two books because they're massive, and Mastery, of course. He's got several really good books. But this stuff is sort of alludes to that. Like that book goes very deep into those things. So you guys can totally check those out. So I just want you guys to also understand that I'm going to be very raw in this video, which is going to rub some people the wrong way. But it is the way it is. Some people literally just don't listen, and a lot of people are going to click this video, get decently far, and go click another one that gives them the answer that they really want to hear. And that's not this video. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Okay? And obviously it comes down to identity and stuff like that. So the more you chase, the more that they run. When they run away from you and they want to be away from you, you have to let them be. Love in such a way that the person feels free. Look, if you're trying to make them love you through these tactics that other coaches are talking about, well, what's going to happen is they're going to feel forced to love you. I tried this tactic a long time ago, going through my very first breakup, and it was rough because all I could think about was making her love. How do I make her love me like she used to? What can I do to make her love me? Oh my God, I miss her so much. How do I make her love me? It's like Bruce Almighty when he's God and he's trying to make his girlfriend like, love me, right? I'll see if I can find the scene. And I've seen guys do this because the guys will chase and chase and chase and chase and chase and chase. And even if they get blocked, they chase. And they're just literally supply and demand. There is no, if you bombard them, they're not going to value you. They're not going to see the value in your energy that you're giving them. So the first step to seeming powerful and looking powerful and having the perception of power to them is removing all attention. Because when you remove attention, I do this in business, okay? I'll do sales calls for my other businesses, right? And there's oftentimes I will give them my price and I'll say, hey, I will help like increase your business's awareness and get you more leads and stuff like that. If by doing this and this and this, I'll literally show them what I'm doing. And then I'll say, this is my price. And that's usually after a series of questions. So how long have you been dealing with this problem, etc. And the price usually, it'll rub people not the wrong way, but they're a little skittish. And then I show them the value, right? Show them the value. So along the way in your relationship, they don't see that value anymore. And a lot of people, again, wonder, how do I show them my value, right? So the first thing I do in those business calls is I say, okay, if you don't see the value, literally I'm going to, 3x, 6x your money in X amount of time because I'm going to help you show up organically through SEO or pay-per-click ads. They don't see the value, or they don't see themselves getting that target, getting that goal, getting that thing, right? They don't see themselves doing it. So they get in their own way. So what you have to do, so what I do to make sure that my value is, I already know, because I know what I can do. I've already done it. I am confident in that. So what I do is I say, look, if you don't believe in that price, like I ask them, I say, what is it? What's the issue, right? And they'll usually say price is the problem. I say, okay, why is price a problem? And they'll go into it. And really it's just fears. It's always just fear that it won't happen, etc. So I say, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know. This is what it costs. And a lot of them, especially if your prices are high and you're confident, they're going to go, okay, maybe there's something here. Okay. So take that information and apply it to you. if they break up with you, right, they don't want your services anymore, then of course what you can do is chase them. So I could chase this guy. Say I just had this exact call. I could chase this guy around and be like, hey, do you want my services? I'll make it $500 cheaper. I'll make it $700 cheaper, and I'll throw this in. No, that's how you become a commodity, right? And it's just a race to the bottom because other companies are going to do that. So you need to have that perceived value. So how do you apply this to your individual life, right? And I've done that call several times because you have to show why that value is important, because they are literally going to get more money from your services, right? So doing this, they need to feel like being with you is going to give them. So what do people go into relationships for, right? Obviously for biological reasons like mating and etc. But really relationships are fun. They're supposed to be fun, especially from a woman's perspective. She wants to go into a relationship to experience the relationship, experience being swept off her feet, experience the fun. And men usually get way too goddamn serious. So what you have to do is obviously work on yourself, but don't take yourself too seriously. Lighten up, relax, stop trying to control everything. And control, right? Power versus force, right? This whole thing. So as you can see right here is where the power section is, and right here is the force section. See, when you force, you're coming from a place of, I feel fear. I feel X feeling, despair, whatever, defeat. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants me. All those emotions. I want to control them so they can't leave me. Therefore, they do leave you. So it's because they're afraid. They don't want to get hurt, right? But when you have, the funny thing is, it's such a paradox because once you live in a power state where you're like, if they hurt me, they do. You know, such is life. Life is going to hurt you sometimes. And you know what? I'm just going to have fun and stay in the process. Stay in the moment. You get hurt less because people love being around you. So you have to adopt this mindset and start working on the stuff you can control. Focus on the little things in your life, whatever goals you have, right? I talk a lot about money because I believe that when you focus on creating a side hustle that you love, you're not dependent on your shit job anymore, which means you're not dependent on somebody else for your freedom. Once you buy freedom, then you can do what passions you have in life. And if your passion happens to be the thing you make money in, wow, right? I love teaching. Okay. But say if that's not your goal, you like working or whatever, then what you could do is focus on the things that really mean something to you outside of that. So you could focus on, like, say you love traveling, say you love doing certain things, whatever. Focus on those things because you're focused on the present moment. You're focused on your energy. You're focused on the things that matter. And then those experiences, life is about experience, literally just being in the mix, right? That way you can be happy doing the things you love doing. I know, and I know how much it hurts, fellas. I know that you're in pain and it's hard because you want to share your life with this person and you miss this person a lot. I get that. But when you're going through a breakup, the best way to appear powerful and to appear strong, which is what they're looking for, they want strength in a partner, is to always love yourself regardless. Sounds corny, I know. But once I adopted this mindset and got into the power, right? Then everything started working, synchronicities, right? I started meeting way better people, higher quality people. I won't go into that too deeply. But what I will say is I never went through another breakup once that information got into my head, once it clicked. Once that clicked, I knew how valuable I was as a person, what I brought to the table in a relationship. I basically said, fuck it. I'm not letting anybody perceive me this way anymore. No one is going to look at me like how my ex, looked at me. I'm going to make sure that no matter what, my attitude is like this, always positive, always Always looking in a positive direction, always in a positive light. I used to complain a lot about government and about the way the fucking world works. And so, you know, it rubs off, right? People don't want to be around somebody who complains. Now I see these people, and sometimes I'm in the same room as these people, and I'm like, my God, that used to be me. I used to bitch and whine about shit like a girl, right? Like, what am I whining about? I can change this. So my desire for freedom was so powerful, and I used to feel so, what's the word I'm looking for? Trapped, right? That caused depression. And then I was, I was like, how the fuck do I escape this bullshit? So that's the first step. Focus on your own energy and where it goes, focus on where it goes, what you're thinking, right? And it starts with my favorite exercise, 100 units of time. I get all of my students who join the Better Man Project to do this. 100 units of time is basically you tracking your hours and tracking where everything goes, so you're aware. Because when you're aware, then that awareness will give you the opportunity to make better decisions. Most people are unaware of the decisions that they're making. They're subconscious actions. So tell me this. Have you guys ever opened your phone, swiped left and right, then closed your phone? Or you open your phone, you check Instagram, literally close it instantly, and then close your phone again? I've done that like a million times. And I was like, and I become aware of myself doing it. So what I do now, what I try to do, sometimes I forget to do this, and I have to perfect this as well. It's a skill. I put my phone away. I have a little drawer right here beside me, and I'll put my phone in there, and I'll just say, I'm not going to check it until 4:30 p.m. And so, but I have everything that I need for my students in front of me on my computer, right? So behind you guys is my two big monitors. Okay. And I have everything I need to keep in contact with them. And that's all that matters, because that's part of my work day. So that's the idea. You become aware of your energy and where it's going. And the easiest way is to mark it down from, not, so I have a template in the school, but it's from 6 to 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then you can just highlight which hours and just go from there. Or you can just get a notebook, like one of these. Okay. And just write down here, like 6, whatever time you wake up, and like, what did you get done? Okay. That's the first thing you can do. And I'll tell you why this is so powerful later on, because eventually, because the thing about exes is they watch you. They watch the shit out of you. They watch your Instagram. I always say it doesn't matter, because they're not reaching out to you. They're not trying to fix it. And a lot of you guys will put a lot of energy into the idea of, oh my God, my ex is watching me, so therefore it matters. And it doesn't. But they do watch you. And the best thing you can do is put in that work and show it off. Okay. So they would be with you if they did value you. I know this sounds simple, but I hear the same questions over and over and over and over again. It's said in different ways. Again, they watch my social media. What should I do? Nothing. Right? Nothing. They blocked me. What do I do? Nothing. Doing nothing is an action, guys. It really is. It's one of the best actions you can actually take, because it gets people to reveal themselves. People will always tell on themselves eventually if something's going on, right? And the truth is, they would be with you if they did value you. They no longer value your energy and who you are. They don't want you around. They don't care. They don't care enough. They love you, but they're not in love with you. They have to find themselves. Oh my God. And this is the thing, just what Jeffries do. They always focus on things they can't control, right? They always focus on, how do I force her to value me? How do I make her love me? Right? So you don't want to be a Jeffrey, and you want to focus on doing less and because guys are fixers. Guys want to fix things. They want to focus on solving problems, right? And their relationship ending is a massive problem. So when you focus on doing less, which is hard, because again, guys are asking me all the time, how do I make her love me? What do I do? Like, you know, and they hyper focus on these little things. Again, she blocked me. I noticed she blocked me. If you notice any of these things often, you're paying attention to the little actions too much. What you're looking for her to do is to be reaching out to you, right? So that's the beginning. Then there's a reattraction process, which I'll talk about in another video. I'll go into extreme depth about that as well. But you want to be focused on doing less. So a lot of guys are trying to do way too much, right? Corey Wayne calls it the illusion of action. I need to do something to make her love me. I need to do something to make her realize she's missing out on me. I need to, again, it's all force. You see the power versus force thing? That's what's happening here. It's all about doing less. Less is usually more in most situations. Business, right? If you work out too much, you know, do less, because your body, as long as you're tearing your muscles, they will rebuild, right? You got to be eating the right food, etc. So doing less regains your power. So again, because you're pulling away your energy, you're pulling away your attention. When you pull your attention away, it makes them think, damn, did I make the right decision? Because they're going to think, because again, they have dumpers confidence like crazy. So they think they can get you back whenever. And they're going to go, did I make the right choice? He hasn't spoken to me. He hasn't chased me. They assume that you're going to chase. They assume that you're going to do all that stuff. And most Jeffries do. 95% of guys are Jeffries when they come to relationships, because they literally can't stop, or they can't control their emotions. That's a high number. And I can, through my observations, I've been able to see that to be true. It's a very high number. So you literally have to stop. That's why these videos need to keep being made, because guys can't control their emotions. So I have to keep pounding this information into your head. Doing less is powerful. Women are going to respond, especially, and if there's any ladies watching, just reverse it, right? But if you are in a relation or in a breakup right now, odds are you've done too much. But the hardest thing is sitting in that emptiness, sitting in that darkness, not knowing what they're thinking, because you're so used to knowing exactly what they think, right? So it scares you. What I'm going to tell you is you have to be more comfortable in that scary state where you don't know what's going to happen. You have to be comfortable being there. Why? Because it hurts, but you have to understand nothing's going to kill you when it comes to breakups, okay? Unless you do it yourself. Nothing's going to kill you, okay? You have to use that knowledge to understand that this too shall pass. So they want distance. When they get distance in space, they will finally see you have value. And really, guys, this is just coming down to the fact that you need to see your own value. If you're chasing somebody, you don't see your value. They don't see it right now. And if you're chasing them, you're trying to force them to see your value. So again, love them in a way that they can feel free, and focus on how they perceive you. Perception is everything. If they think that you are readily available, again, this is dumpers confidence, right? They're going to never respect you enough to be like, this guy's actually strong, and maybe I made the wrong decision. They need to feel that space. They need to feel your strength through your inaction of not reaching out. Okay. That's the perception. That's what they're going to eventually start to feel. They're going to go, okay, this guy hasn't reached out to me, so he must be stronger than I thought. He's not that simp that maybe I thought he was. My girlfriends keep telling me that he is this Jeffrey. Maybe he's not a Jeffrey. That doubt needs to enter their minds. That doubt is your best friend. Okay. A woman's imagination is your best friend, fellas, in a positive and well, mostly positive way. And you just have to look, you have to see how that frame works. So when you're in a relationship, your imagination, just like letting her, women love mystery, right? So if you're like, hey girl. So if I was talking to my girl, right? My wife, and I said, hey, we're going on a date. This is where we're going. This is where we're going. This is where we're going. I want you to wear this, this, and this. Obviously that's the confidence is coming through, but the point is I could say, hey, we're going on a date. I just want you to wear this, and you'll find out what we're going to do when we get there. And I would allude a little bit like are we doing like an activity, like are we going rock climbing? I would articulate that, but besides that, I wouldn't tell her, because she's going to sit in that anticipation, right? That anticipating energy is often better than the actual like the actual activity itself, right? Anticipation is the bread and butter to turning her on. So she's anticipating you reaching out. She's anticipating you chasing. And when you don't, it'll throw her for a loop. Okay? So again, always love in a way that they can feel free and focus on how they perceive you, which is strength, right? People make decisions from a rational place. Sorry, people don't make decisions from a rational place. It's all emotional. They got to a point where they didn't want to break up with you anymore. Sorry, they didn't want to be with you anymore. So what they did is they made that choice. See, men are emotional too, but men are more rational and logical. So that's why men will say, okay, we were together for 5 years. Let's not throw this away. Women will go, we were together for 5 years, but he's not making me happy anymore. So why should I stay? I can see how that would work, because why should you stay with somebody who you no longer respect? Guys get complacent all the time. So do women, of course. Fellas, I'm not knocking all of you, right? But you know what? At the same time, a lot of the coaching calls I've had have been with dudes who are complacent. They stop getting haircuts, you know? They stop trying to improve their appearance, which was me for a little while, right? There's lots of stuff, and there's so many things that you have to focus on as a man. It doesn't actually take as much energy as you think. It's just habits. Habits create your identity, right? So again, she's feeling the emotion. I'm sick of this guy's shit, because resentment is really what it comes from, just continuous resentment. So she makes the decision from an emotional place. And guys, again, are usually like, I love her, and we've been together for 10 years. Why are we throwing this away? Right? My ear just went like silent. I hate that. So getting into the next thing, I want to go a little bit deeper into psychological reasons. Now, maybe this is a little bit of overlap, but it's not that much, work to talk about this. But again, this kind of goes into the business stuff. People don't like loss. Okay? They don't like loss. So she broke up with you. Right? They left. They decided they don't want to be with you anymore. Well, because as soon as she feels like there's loss, so there will be a point, and this is why they come back, because there will be a point in time where they're going to go, maybe I can't get this guy back as easily as I thought. Right? So as soon as they feel that emotion, and as soon as like they reach out to you and you're not texting her back right away like you used to, they feel that loss. That's when they're going to go, oh shit. Okay. I've seen it happen. Okay. Seen it happen with my students, and it's happened to me personally. So this is their confidence going down the drain, because eventually they're going to not be so confident because they're fucking up. Right? So your ex is always watching what you do. So make sure you do the self-work. This is why I offer Better Man Project. It's a good place to get started, because it's a way for somebody who is, okay, for a group of people who are going in the same direction, number one. But I know so many of the guys are so unsure of what they should be doing during this time. And I think that so many guys are just so used to doing nothing or focused on the wrong things. The self-work is key. Start with the gym. I'll give it all away. Start with the gym. Start with tracking your time, like I showed you. There's more tactics you can use, but tracking your time. Okay. I have another tactic that I teach in there that is amazing. And it'll change your life. And it's the idea of a repeat timer. Okay. But, I'll make a whole video about that later. So the self-work is important because they are watching you. They're going to be watching your, I understand there's going to be some people who are going to comment and say, oh, they blocked me. How are they watching me? Right? Et cetera, et cetera. They're watching you. Maybe through a friend's Instagram. Maybe your Instagram isn't private. I don't know. But they're going to be searching and watching because they know that they're not going to get caught. Okay? I know that there are people who download those apps that are like, oh, this is the person that is secretly looking at your profile. Right? And it's all fake. None of that shit's real. Right? So you become scarce, and that's why you cannot chase. Going to the awesome segue, right? So when you become scarce, right, that's when that loss hits. Again, a little bit of this is overlap, but let me try to nail the point for you. Chasing, and I call this kind of like emotional and thought chasing, where you're constantly thinking about them all the time and focusing on none of your own goals. And you focus on their energy so much that they're like, imagine if they could hear how much you're thinking about them. Would it turn them off? Now, I know you guys can't turn off your thoughts. I get that. So what I'm saying that you should do is take the hours that you have in the day and use them. Use them to the highest degree you can. And when they feel that strength coming from you, you know, because guys chase all the time. They chase too much. There's no way, okay, that they're going to feel that regret. They need to feel the regret. They need to feel it. And chasing is going to just kill that and kill the fire, right? And when you're living your life, they eventually know that somebody will come up and scoop you. Okay, this happened to me. So when I was going through a breakup, I was hurt. I was chasing, pursuing. This was years and years ago, right? And literally, it was like weeks, like 2 weeks. I stopped chasing. I stopped giving a fuck. I deleted the number. I deleted social. Everything was gone. And literally 2 weeks went by. And this is when I heard from her, because I started going out. I started going out with my friends, and my friends were introducing me to like the girls in the group. So they had this like giant group of friends, right? And there were girls that were, you know, like a year younger or whatever. So I was like 20 at the time. So they had been 19 or whatever. So they were all hanging out, and I was being introduced to these girls, and I looked really good because, you know, I was in the best shape of my life back then. And so I felt pretty confident, but I was hurting, and I didn't want a relationship. But still, I still went out and had fun, and that goes up on social media. And since I was having fun, I didn't have my arm around girls or anything goofy shit like that, because then they'll feel like this guy didn't give a shit about me. He didn't care about me. He just wanted to go get laid, right? But they knew that I was at parties. The girl that I was hurting over, she knew. She was like, "Oh, he's over here," because she was hearing from her friends and school and all that stuff that I was partying, right? Now I know some of you guys are, you know, not in situations like that. However, they do know that somebody will come along eventually. And so since I was partying a lot, 2 weeks go by, I'm hanging out with these girls and I'm having a good time. I start getting over her. Like I start really feeling it. I was like, man, I'm not thinking about it all the time. I'm thinking about this new girl that I'm hanging out with. We're going to go have some coffee tomorrow, and we're going to go swimming, and we're going to go to the beach and stuff. That's what I was thinking about. As soon as I started thinking those things, guys, this is it's crazy. I can't explain this. Maybe it's spiritual shit. Maybe it's energy. Maybe it's that whole thing that I talked about in previous videos where you're sending energy. It could be that. As soon as I focused my energy on, and like, but it's not even just the thoughts. It's when you feel it, because you have to feel. It's almost like the thought and the emotion are like synergy, right? So as soon as I started feeling myself moving on and hanging out with the new girls, right? That's when she called. Hey, I didn't have cell phones were still kind of shit back then. Like HTC One was out and all that, but it still wasn't like refined. It wasn't that good. iPhones were like literally just taking off, and it wasn't very good. So I had a flip phone at the time, and I got a call. Hey, how are you? I've been thinking about you. You know, I just wanted to see how you're doing, right? And I was like, oh, I'm cool. You know, I'm just hanging out. Like, I have one of my best friends. I said, and she knew who he was. I'm just hanging out with him right now. You know, and we're going to like a thing tonight, whatever. And she's like, oh, like you're going. She knew I was going out already, but she's like, you're going out. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm going out. Like, I'm not going to, I said, I'm not going to sit at home all the time. Right. And it's like, it's again, once you feel it, that's when they go, okay, this guy's going to get scooped up. This guy's going to get some, and especially if you're working on yourself, which goes to the point number 2, because you're working on yourself. So you're hitting the gym, you're focused on your side hustles and your money. You're doing mentorship. You're doing all these cool things. You join an awesome group and these guys are telling you the truth about life, right? And literally they call and they're like, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're doing well or anything like that. All that bullshit. And you get to decide, do I want to talk to this woman or do I want to go out with this new girl who's been paying attention to me? Right? Now, I know many of you guys hit the dating apps and you're like, oh man, like, you know, I need some attention. But regardless, an abundant and powerful mindset is when you're going to attract. And that started happening when I felt myself moving on. I stopped giving a shit about what she was doing. And eventually you get there eventually on your own, right? That's why I like talking about the post breakup self-improvement, because it literally will make you so you don't ever have to go through another breakup again, because you're going to understand the dynamics. You're going to understand the power that you're going to be in. So they need to feel the consequences of losing you, which is, again, this all kind of ties together, because say she does know that you're talking to this pretty new girl. She might even know who she is. She's gonna be like, fuck, man, that guy's, they're gonna start fucking, and then he's gonna forget about me. No matter what, always remember this, fellas. No matter what, she still wants to know that she can get you. She wants to know that. She wants to know she can get you. If she knows deep down in her soul that she can get you, you're never going to get her respect. That's a fucking promise. She's never going to respect you as a man. Okay? She's not. So when you go to bed at night and you think, I know, and this is kind of the hardest time for the guys going through a breakup. When you go to bed at night, this is what I want you fellas to do. Think about the decisions that you made that day and ask yourself, did I make the best decisions today that I possibly could have if my objective was to get her back? Which, again, remember, is to pull away. It's to, you know, it's to love yourself and recognize your own power and your own value. Okay? So, did you make those decisions? Are you proud of your decisions for that day? Today, right? Some of my students are putting their 100 units of time in the group, and I can tell that it's a new thing because some days they forget. And when I speak to these guys, I'm like, hey, like, you know, how do you feel doing this? They're like, man, it's awesome. I'm tracking, right? They feel proud of the decisions that they're making every hour, every free hour they have. So they will feel the consequences of losing you when they feel the power, and then they'll respect you because you were able to back away and you were able to work on yourself. You were able to see how all your decisions are doing better for you. Okay? So everything's in the description box below. See you guys in the next video.